Well, hi there, everyone. It's Ashley here from Lovely Commotion. Thank you for joining me today. It is officially summer break for me, and I apologize to those of you who it is not yet. But today I want to share with you 8 summer reads for early educators. Teachers love to learn, am I right? That's why we love to go to educational conferences and read professional development books. We just can't help ourselves. We love like new strategies and all the new research. It's so exciting. And I realize how nerdy that must sound, but you can't take the learner out of the teacher. Am I right? So if you are looking for some summer reads, maybe some titles you have not read yet, I wanted to share with you 8 of my current faves. Now, to be clear, these are not read for enjoyment books, but I promise they will teach you something, and they may even change the way you do some things in your classroom in one way or another. So 8 summer reads for early educators. These are my current favorites, and I can share them with you and feel happy about it because I've read them and loved them. So the first one I want to share with you is called Already Ready. It looks like this, and it is written by Katie Wood Ray and Matt Glover. And I read this book, it's been about 2 years ago, and what got me was on the front it says forward by Lillian Katz. Love Lillian Katz, so I knew that I was going to love this book as well. This book really helps you see the importance of read alouds in relation to building our young children into readers and writers in your classrooms. And so I absolutely love the mindset of this book because it talks about how they're already ready. They are already developing readers and developing writers just in their own way because they're 4 and 5. And I absolutely love the strategies and ideas presented in this book because it can help you transform those read aloud times and bring more to them, make them more, and help your children see themselves as already writers and already readers. So, great read. I love how there are examples all throughout this book and lots of different ideas in here, hands-on ideas that you can do. Just a great read. So this is my first one, Already Ready by Katie Wood Ray and Matt Glover. Another book, and if you haven't read this one, I highly recommend it. It's called Teach Skills and Break Habits, and it's by Dan St. Roman. And I'm telling you, it's a quick and easy read. Growth mindsets for better behavior in the classroom. Who doesn't want better behavior in the classroom, right? Well, Dan St. Roman does such an amazing job laying out why we need to change our mindset about discipline in the classroom. This is not the book for you if you're looking for strategies on how I can help my children behave. It's more of a mindset shift for you to go through, and it helps you hone in your ability to look at children's behaviors as something that's missing and how we can teach that missing skill. I also really love the part about when he goes into classroom reward systems and how they are not helpful and the damage that we could be doing to our children because of them, and helping you with ways that you can actually help your children manage their behavior rather than just giving rewards and punishments. So fabulous book. If you have not read it, I came from the public school world where we did a lot of reward systems and things like that. If you are familiar with the clip charts and the warm and fuzzy jars, he addresses all that in here. And he does it in such a fabulous way that will make you go, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Or why am I doing that? And so you have to be ready to kind of shift your mind. If you're kind of set and happy with the way things are going with your behavior, this may not help you. But if you are ready to really look and help students with their behavior and help them get those missing skills, instead of just using punishment and reward systems, this is your book. Such a good read. So cannot recommend that one enough. Another one that I really love, and the pictures in this, y'all, are just so fabulous. It's called The Curious Kid Science Book by Asia Citro. And if you need science ideas, there's 100 in here, as you can see, for ages 4 to, I believe it's 8. Yeah, 4 to 8. And I just love this book. It goes through the introduction, goes through the scientific method, and the ways that our children learn. And it's like, it even goes through as what a baby knows, right? They make an observation of something yucky on the floor. They pick it up and they're forming a hypothesis. They perform an experiment by putting it in their mouth. And then they analyze that data by deciding that it's disgusting. And they report their findings by screaming it out loud that they just ate something disgusting. And then they might even hand it to someone else so that they can reproduce the results. So it's so great the way she breaks this up, because it is so easy to understand the scientific method when we look at it in the eyes of an infant. I also love this book because it talks about asking questions to get our children thinking, asking open-ended questions. What do you think will happen? Why do you think this is happening? What do you still wonder about? All these amazing things in here. And then she goes into different science supplies that you should have on hand all the time so that you can grab from. And then, of course, there is science experiments after science experiments in here, which is super fun. And she has it broken down, and even in the table of contents, you can clearly see where there's an experiment and the experiment that you guys could do. Also some challenges and some exploration. So if you're looking for ideas for science, this is a great one. And her images are just, I mean, you just want to eat them up. It makes you want to try them as well, because they're so, look at these children, they just look so engaged. And so if you're ever struggling for an idea of, I'd really like to bring in some more science or some challenges, this book gives some great ideas, and it's all kind of laid out there for you for what you need and helpful hints and things that you could ask children. So great book with so many fabulous experiment ideas. The fourth book on my list is called The Artful Parent by Jean Van Hol. I'm sure I am butchering that name. I apologize. Don't be fooled by this, the name of this. The Artful Parent. It's still such a wonderful book for educators as well. It's all about process art. It is all about how we can encourage process art. It even walks you through like planning for art, materials for art, spaces for art, how you can encourage young artists. And just like the Curious Kid Science book, this one has some amazing photographs in it. And then of course, it has some art ideas in here. But I love how it goes through different types of art mediums that we may not have tried with young children and how we can add those as well. And so let me find a good picture for you here. She goes through different types of art. Here's one that looks really exciting that I would like to try soon. She calls it trace shadow shapes. And so there's a shadow there and you can trace it. So if you're looking for process art ideas, this book is full of them, and the pictures are so stunning. And it just makes you want to get out there and do some art together. And sometimes we always revert back to the same old, right? Get out the paint and the paintbrush. And she's taking it just a wee bit further about how we can push our little artists a little bit more and make some new art that is all about the process. So great book, great ideas in here. I love going to this when I need something new. And we want our children to experience different types of mediums, and she does a fabulous job giving you ideas for that. I just saw one that I really like, a plaster treasure keeper. Have you done plaster with your kids? I know I have not, and I'm not scared of messes, so I will definitely try that. But so many great ideas in this book for some process art. Okay, the next book, it's a monster. is just such a huge book, but it is so chock full of great, great literacy information. It is the Literacy Beginnings Pre-Kindergarten Handbook by Fontes and Pinnell. Fontes and Pinnell is something we used when I was teaching first grade, and I love that they have a handbook, but oh my gosh, look at this thing. It is ginormous. But it also has, tabs in it, so you can easily find what you're looking for. Big bonus right there. And so since it's broken down like that, it's really not a hard read. I actually found myself just reading and reading and reading because I loved what they had to say and so many great ideas. But it starts with just the basics of pre-kindergarten classroom and what that should look like and what we should be seeing. Like it even talks about circle time and shared reading, and it talks about all the different centers that we can have and reading time and all that. So it goes in, it starts very broad, but then it goes a little bit deeper and it goes into language. It goes into supporting our emergent readers, which is something we all want to make sure we're doing. Supporting emergent writers. There's some great information in there for that. Helping our children learn about letters, sounds, and words and how we can assess that. So it basically covers that whole umbrella of literacy that we want to make sure that we are giving our kids. So great, great handbook. It just is one of those that I go back to and go, okay, what else do I need to do? What idea can I try? Wonderful. And then the very back, it's kind of nice too, because the back has, let me see if I can grab it here. They've got different lessons. So like going on an alphabet hunt, it just gives you some great ideas to just kind of get your brain going about what you could do with literacy in your classroom. So huge, monstrous book, but full of so much fabulous information. Another one that I really like to use, but this time it's for math, is Teaching Mathematics in the Early Childhood by Sally Muma. This one I had bought used, but doesn't matter to me because it will get worn anyway. And what I really like about this book is that if you're struggling to bring math into your preschool classroom, this can help. So not only does this book like define all those big math terms, it also gives you hands-on ways to implement them. And so I really like that. So just like to give you an example, all throughout the book, it gives some activity ideas. And I love to use this kind of stuff because I learn a lot by picture and by example. And so kind of give me an example and my brain will start coming up with ideas to use as well that are similar. But I love how she goes through each type of math. And so it is broken down here into number sense, arithmetic operations, algebra concepts, geometry concepts, measurement concepts, data analysis and probability, and then kind of how to put it all together. But I love how it's broke up like that because sometimes it can be, just math as a whole umbrella in preschool can be so overwhelming. And so she did such a fabulous job breaking it apart, defining these things, and then giving you some activity ideas. One of my very favorite parts of this book is, hold on, let me find it here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it's like a continuum. And I really like this because it's a long-term scheduling guide for preschool. And so what it does is it gives you the months across the top, and then it gives you, see it on this side, the different areas of math, right? So we've got number sense, algebra, geometry, and she goes through and gives you some ideas of what you could do. So like, for example, in September in algebra, you could use bottle caps for sorting and you could clap name patterns. So super simple to just go and go, oh yeah, that's that. I love that idea. Great. For example, in November for measurement, she has down measure, direct comparison, and intermediate object, and group graphing and estimation of 3 to 5 items. So it kind of gives you a place to go, okay, this is where they can start. And then as they go through the year even more, we are getting more advanced as they go through the year. And so that's very helpful. There's also one in here for kindergarten, which is helpful. And she breaks that down even more into like large groups, small groups. So that is super helpful. But I love this book when just trying to wrap my brain around all those areas of math And she lists them here on the back, the basics of each area in here. And so that has been super helpful for me. All right, the 7th book is Purposeful Play. If you or someone you know is on the fence about the importance of play in the classroom, this book does a fabulous job laying out why play is a necessity for children. There's a whole section in here about using play to further the social emotional growth of our children, which is, for me, one of the biggest things that play does that other types of learning doesn't. And so I love that. It's the whole green section in here. It's color coded. The whole green section is about play and bringing that in with social emotional development, how we can teach them empathy through play, how we can give them a growth mindset through play, and all these wonderful things. And then it also, just in the very front, helping you in the blue section create playful environments, why play is so incredibly important, the different kinds of play we can be putting in. And what I love about this book is it is not just for preschool. They talk about, hey, you could be doing this in many of the elementary grades, and how you can kind of make your day playful is such a refreshing idea, right? And so this one is written by Christine Mraz, Allison Porcelli, and Cheryl Tyler. Again, sorry if I totally butchered those names, but it's a great read. So much is packed into this book, so much information. I have read through it, but I know for a fact that I will be going back to some of these areas just for a refresher and to grab new ideas. But there's awesome pictures in this one as well, which I absolutely love. Almost every page has some photographs for you to just kind of get your brain thinking. And so great read if you have not read this one already or have this one near you. And the last book is I Am Reading by Kathy Collins and Matt Glover. So Matt Glover was the author of the first one I shared, which was Already Ready, Nurturing Writers in Preschool and Kindergarten. And this one he's written with Kathy Collins is I Am Reading, and it is Nurturing Young Children's Meaning Making and Joyful Engagement of any book. Joyful engagement. Isn't that so? It's such a lovely term. I just love it. So another wonderful book. Starts out by approaching the controversy around like what is reading in the early years. A lot of parents and others think that when they are rereading or memorizing a book that they are not reading, but this book kind of tackles that head on about that is how they are already reading. I Am Reading, the title of the book. And so it goes through, it's kind of organized into familiar books and unfamiliar books, and how we can just kind of cultivate this idea around reading with familiar books and unfamiliar books. He gives benefits of reading familiar books and unfamiliar books. He gives book suggestions, strategies, give all that. And then they've got these matrices, which I found very interesting. Let me find one for you. So for familiar reading, they have these different language levels. So for example, in level 1, they might start with just naming and labeling like out loud the character or the object. And so I can remember my daughter doing this very young with just some picture books. She would go through frog, dog, that very level 1 of reading. And then it moves into kind of attending to pictures, naming objects and actions with more details. And then it goes into level 3 where they're using that prior knowledge of what you've already read to bring into the story and using those pictures to help them go through the story. Very interesting, cool way to break up the idea of, yes, our children are already readers. And these are the examples of what they might do when they're reading. And then there's a section for what we can do or say to support that child where they're at in that reading journey. And then an example of some interactions between a child and an adult, which is very helpful as well. I love examples, so that is super helpful. And also just the idea of great books, great book recommendations for reading familiar books. And then it goes into reading unfamiliar books. And so they've never seen it before, right? It's a brand new book to them and what that looks like. And so great things to observe in here, great things to see where your children kind of are on that spectrum of already reading and how we can nurture them once we see where they are on that whole reading spectrum, because they already are readers. I am reading. So fabulous, fabulous books. I'll run through them one more time. Already Ready. This one is all about nurturing writers. Loved, love, love this book. Also, then I Am Reading, also by Matt Glover and Kathy Collins, Nurturing the Readers for Joyful Engagement. Purposeful Play, another fabulous, fabulous book chocked full of just so much amazingness. Mathematics, Teaching Mathematics in the Early Childhood by Sally Muma. Totally breaking that down so that your brain can make more sense of it, which is always helpful. A monster of a book, but so full of wonderful, wonderful information. Literacy Beginnings, a pre-kindergarten handbook by Fontes and Pinnell. The Artful Parent. Wonderful, wonderful ideas for bringing art and the love of art into your classroom. The Curious Kids Science book, because our kids are already curious. We do not even have to instill that in them. That's who they are at age 4 and 5. So we should definitely use that curiosity and come up with different ways that we can help them explore and bring some more science into the classroom. And the last one is Teach Skills and Break Habits by Dan St. Roman. And it is such a great mind shift book. If you choose any of these, this one may change the way you look at the students in your classroom and how you can help them rather than use maybe a rewards and punishment system. So recommend. So 8 books for you. Please let me know in the comments. Have you read any of these? Are there any new ones to you? Do you plan on grabbing them? Do you love to read, professional development books in the summer too? I'm hoping it's not just me. But let me know. And if you have a great book that you absolutely love for preschool professional development, please drop it in the comments. I always love new book recommendations. It's great to hear what has helped other teachers as well. So drop those in the comments. But thanks for coming by. And if you need a full list of these, I will put a link to the blog post so that you can go through and you can click over to them. Just be a click over to Amazon, no affiliate link or anything like that. But clicking over to Amazon so you can check them out and maybe grab them, or even your local library, right? So thanks again for joining me. I will talk to you next week. Bye.